time for all of your questions
Any questions?
through our presentation.
Well, I probably will have a question or two.
Okay, all right. So my name, I know I already introduced myself, but my name is Lisa Miller, and this is Brandon. I moved to Texas about a year ago. I used to teach band and choir and like beginning, like music lab, piano, guitar. So I'm really appreciative that I can be here to talk about music and arts because I've been on the band director side of things where I worked with them on that side, and then I've been on the store side of things, and I'm really grateful that you could be here, Brandon, to talk about the educational side of things. So, good morning. So a little bit of background. Our first music and arts was located in Maryland, and the name of the person that founded it was Benjamin O'Brien. So it was first opened in a little house in 1952, and they carried more than just music supplies. They had art supplies, they did dance classes, but then we found that that was kind of a really big area to focus on, so we narrowed it down so that we could better serve our customers. So that's something that we still do today, although we support all areas of the arts, just like things like paints. It's very specific what people need, so I'm glad that we could focus on, we have combo instruments, orchestral instruments, band instruments, and any kind of supplies that you might need. So music and arts today, we're in Frederick, Maryland. We have over 200 locations. I think we're over 210 actually as of now. And we have a lot of acquisition stores too, and affiliate locations, about over 300. So we're really grateful to be able to have grown and be able to be there for everyone in the community. So the services that we offer, besides just our brick and mortar store and our online store, are lessons, repairs, and rentals. So not every store will be big enough to have lessons, but I think most stores have a lessons.
I think most of the new ones they're trying to really.
Yeah. So.
Which is nice. One of the reasons why I really like this company is that they're really focused on making sure we get the best musicians that we can get, not just, here, come buy a box of reeds. We're really committed to making sure the kids take every advantage and that everything that we can help provide them with, that they'll stay lifelong musicians. And the lesson program is really a big part of that. Like she said, we have 5 or 6, I never remember, in the studios in the store.
6.
We've got 6 in our local store here, and we're not. This just serves Waco, so it's 125,000 or so. So we have 6 lesson studios. That space is dedicated to filling up with kids and adults who want to take stuff. So we're reinforcing the education side of them getting proficient in instruments. It's kind of neat. There's not really nobody else doing that.
We have our youngest lesson student just turned 5. And her oldest is like, we have a few gentlemen that are retired that just want to keep up on keeping their minds active and exercises and things like that. So in terms of repairs, we, at least at our store, we send our repairs out twice a week. And for any kind of repairs that go out, we do estimates. Do you do estimates on your end of things too?
Mm-hmm. Really, we're split into 2 kind of channels. She's on the actual retail store side, and then I'm on the educational school services side. If we do repairs for you, we can pick up the instruments at your school. We have a number of questions that we'll ask you about how you want to pay for it. If it's bill, POs, later billing, all of those kinds of things. But we work it out to however it's most comfortable for you in your program. And yeah, we can do repair estimates and get your okay before we do anything, or you can just send it off and say fix it and bring it back. And so yeah, we offer a lot of different services that way, a lot of options to help.
And then rentals, I think, is, in terms of just like a school setting, a huge part. I know that we do paper, contract rentals for customers that want to come in the store. If there are customers that want to do that online, they can do that too, and add the accessories that your school prefers, your method books that you like, and just take care of that all at once now off our website, and I'll show you that too. Or I know Brandon does band drive sometimes, and they take care of rentals there too. So, and it is rent to own. They can use their rental credit portion of it towards either the purchase of like a step-up instrument, or say, what I really like is if they start on like say flute and they're like, I don't really want to do flute, but I don't want to give up band. They could try say trumpet and move their rental credit over. So there's some flexibility in that. They're never locked in. I mean, it is a rental contract, but if you want to return it, or they want to return it, I should say, they can just bring it back to any music and arts store. It doesn't have to be the one that they got it from or in their town. If they've moved, and they'll do that, they'll just lose that rental credit that they've accrued.
Yeah.
And the portion that they accrue is like at the base portion of their payment for the instrument. With rentals, there's also like a liability damage waiver or insurance that covers everything except for if it's lost or if it's stolen. So if someone sets their clarinet on their stand, or I hope not on their stand, but across on the chair, it gets knocked down and they bend something, it covers those repairs. And what we can do is just take that instrument in need of repair and switch it out with another one and move the rental credit over. I do understand that sometimes students are like attached to that one instrument, so if that's the case, then we can get that instrument repaired and back to them. And in the meantime, at our stores we have loaners too. So, but I'll show you more about the rentals. I didn't know if you had any other perspectives on your end to add.
I could talk about it more. I kind of like to just, I'll input a couple of things here and there, but I'll let her get through her program and we'll address your questions. And then I'll fill out anything that I think we've left out.
Okay.
You're doing great, Lisa.
Thanks. I talked too long. So the next kind of portion that we have, I have videos telling more about each of them, and I just pulled them off our music and arts page on YouTube. But they kind of go a little bit more in depth about what we do. So I'll just play that for you. We should be having some.
In your mind, while we'll just take up technical time, what questions do you have?
I don't know. I'm just gonna see. With some repairs, like, why does it take some people so long to do like simple repairs?
You mean like in the shop?
Yeah.
Because they're getting, depending on the repair shop, they're getting those repairs in from all over.
Even if they do them in-house?
Like, are you asking about other companies or our company? Anybody?
In general?
In general, we would hope as an educator that it's no more than a week, that you can get it back in a week. Beyond that, I would begin to ask the store itself, why can't you get my repairs back? And they can speak to that, for their own business, because I don't really know. I know that in Dallas-Fort Worth, we have a large warehouse/repair shop where we have one facility essentially based. And so horns are coming in from all over the Metroplex. And so it could be a delay. We have plenty of people to work. Sometimes during certain parts of the year, a lot of stuff comes in at one time, say right after Christmas when we're doing marching stuff. Or right at the beginning of school, kids are coming back and find that their instrument's not working from last year or whatever. And so we get a large influx. And they're really good, although it's frustrating sometimes, about really just sticking to what comes in first. And so in those time periods for us, I know that sometimes it gets up to a little more than a week. If you had an ed rep, an educational representative that called on your school, then he could address that more specifically with you. In general, I don't know. I think one of the really difficult parts in this business is finding good qualified repairmen to go where they're needed. I mean, we have a good collection up in Dallas-Fort Worth, We have a nice, big repair shop down in Houston. We have an acquisition that we got in Austin, and now I'm gonna be running mine down to Colleen Temple area, down south of here. But finding somebody who hasn't already been in a place, it's like if we open a repair shop in Waco, we gotta find somebody in the nation to come in and work here. And sometimes that's hard, because there's not a lot of them, and they have benefits as far as being able to say what they will and won't do, so.
Yeah.
The turnaround time, as an educator, you should expect to be able to try to get it back in a week. And if there's not, then you need to just question either the person that calls on you, or just feel free to stop by the store and say, I've noticed that consistently I'm not getting my repairs back within a week, and can you give me a little explanation? Beyond that, you know, I would, if I were testing, it might be a good time to test other companies. You know, and I know directors will sometimes, you know, spread the wealth just a little bit and find out who can consistently give them what they need. So, if that's something that we can do for you, like Lisa said, we can get you Don Gardner's phone number, who is the district manager over the Dallas-Fort Worth, Lubbock area. That's his territory. And he knows where his specific reps call. And so he would be able to tell you who the closest one was, and try to set up something with you for to have somebody come by.
And I mean, like Brandon said, if there's ever a time where, you know, it's taking a little bit, or if, you know, we can also put need by dates on things, and I always try to give a little bit of buffer room too with that. So if that's the case, then we can do that too, and it's, you know, something that I can check on at the store. I have people, you know, ask, and it's not an issue. I can just reach out, and I know Alex is in Dallas, so I'm gonna miss working with him. He got me answers really quickly, so I can't believe how big the hubs are, how much there's over there.
Oh, I forgot what I was gonna say.
Wow.
But yeah, if we get somebody one-on-one with you, they can explain that. And like she said, with the due dates, we have repair tickets on that. Didn't bring one with me, but we can put a lot of information on there that the director specifically requested by this date. And we'll try to do that as much as possible.
And, you know, if they can bring them in over the summer too, that's always a good time, especially after marching season. We have a lot, but I know sometimes we'll get last minute things, and that's okay too.
And if you're not doing that currently with your program, I don't know how y'all have your summer repair set up. Is it with the gentleman that y'all know?
Some of it is, some of it isn't.
Do you know where it goes?
No.
Okay.
Our head director does that.
Okay.
I know we have, because we send our brass instruments to one company, our woodwinds to another one, because they don't have the brass guy anymore.
Gotcha.
We do like the other company that we're using, but they do strictly woodwinds.
Okay.
We would love to send everything to that company,
Sure.
but they
Sure.
don't have their brass guy anymore. I was like, no.
Well,
Because we would
definitely.
send you everything, because
Yeah.
they get it in, get it out.
And it's nice because, yeah, if you know that everything's going to one place, you're not having to ask, well, have you seen my such and such? Because you know exactly who it went with, and they can be held accountable. It's really important, I think. But yeah, I'll get your information after we get through, and
Yeah.
I'll hook you up with Don up there and see what we can get going for you.
Because I know a couple of our kids do have some music and arts instruments. I just don't know where they got them.
Right. Well, our rental program is really nice in that there's a lot of options for families, and it's designed that way. So when you go to rent an instrument, what we do primarily, well, the end of school, we have horn drives. At the beginning of school, we have horn drives where we go out to the schools and we offer everything. What we're doing now in the schools is offering paperless rentals. So we get a preference list from you. Say, I like Yamaha clarinets, and I like them to have Andorra and 3 reeds, and I like them to have a silk swab for their clarinet. We can get those preferences from you, and we put them in our computer system so that no matter where somebody goes into one of our stores, they can ask what school it is that they go to. We can pull up on our systems your school and make sure that those children then are getting exactly what you as educators want. With the payment program, we offer a deal in both the fall and the late spring where the families come in and they pay $5 and just to help get them set up for the beginning of school. And that usually holds for a month until their next payment's due. But it's a great way to get started. without a lot of money because you're paying for everything else at the beginning of school.
Mhm.
They have the option of bringing the instrument back if the child decides not to continue with their studies, and it's free, just boom, bring it back and everything's done. If they decide to go ahead and rent it on out, and they can do that, there's no interest on our contracts, which makes us a little unusual. But so they're just paying that monthly payment all the way out, and the instrument becomes theirs. Like she said, you can pay it to a certain point and then switch to a step-up instrument. And the other thing that we offer is once you get into your program, say the kid gets to the end of the 5th or 6th grade year and they decide, wow, I really do love this, and parents go, awesome, we're gonna go ahead and do it. They can purchase it at any time during that rental program and get 30% off of whatever the remaining balance is, which is a pretty good chunk if they get into it soon enough. So we just offer a lot of different options to make that more comforting for parents and students. So it's a really nice program.
I think my audio's gonna work.
Okay.
But, I mean, I totally agree with everything that Brandon's saying. If, you know, we need to do like any kind of option with our rentals, it's really flexible. And I have, you know, a sheet, at least for the stores in this area, so you can kind of maybe get an idea. These are some of the brands that are in the back. And then it kind of goes over, or at least shows you how you can rent online. And that's really easy. You know, you can search by your zip code, and then choose your school, and it'll show what instruments they're wanting the students to rent. And then you can add your book, you can add any of the accessories and take care of that payment right there. You can have it delivered, you know, they can have it delivered to your house. I understand with beginners, it'd be good probably just to do everything to the school so they're not messing around with everything. But it makes it really easy, so it's one less thing that you have to worry about.
Yeah.
What we started to do in the field is when we go out and we do the drives, we're trying to do the best we can to have everything be paperless. We used to have big placemat type contracts. It was just a little intimidating, I think. But now with the technology that we have, we can sit around with either phones or laptops and we can just do it right there. And it's become like a 5-minute process where it used to be like a 20-minute process with people. You can still get the same information. You can still give them the same feeling of security because so many parents don't know about music and learning that instrument. But we do it really, really quickly. And as a teacher, one of the things that was hardest about band drives is just all the parents staying around not doing anything. Because they're bored and they start to get kind of cranky after they've been there for an hour or so and nobody's helped them. So the wave of our future, which is ahead of, I think, any other company in our industry in the nation, is paperless rentals that just boom, go directly into the system. So it makes it really nice for parents. I worked a drive up in Mansfield not too long ago.
It really helps.
It really was really neat. I had never seen that process before. But.
And we're practicing it at our stores. It's a new thing that we'll do this rental season. It also helps with like the handwriting or forgetting part of the contract, because we'll still have the contracts as a backup in case that ever should go down, or you know, if they don't want to do it online, we can't always do a paper contract. But sometimes reading the handwriting was hard.
Kind of funny.
And if somebody's typing in their address and their name, then there's no confusion. They've got all their stuff in there.
It's really nice. I mean, and on online, it'll show you again the instruments. We can do all your typical, you know, band instruments. We do have bass clarinets, we have tenor saxophones, French horns too, some baritone euphoniums. So I know schools sometimes have those instruments, but in case you have someone that really wants to, and you know, you don't have enough of those, we have those types of instruments too. We even have like rental marimbas, although I know probably we won't start a beginner on, you know, marimba. But we have the little percussion kits too.
That's what a lot of the larger schools are really going to, just to make sure that the kid.
marimba?
It's just a 3-octave, it's not like the big 5.
And it's a special marimba that Music and Arts has partnered up with a company called Marimba One, and so it's less expensive than actually the marimba that you would go to the store and buy. But it's a good quality instrument, and so to have their kids, students in the larger schools really be able to get around the keyboard part of it, because so many times the kids just like to play the drums, and they never work on that other side. So the marimba thing has really come into its own, and that the kids can feel it, and they're forced to do this from the get-go. It's not like they have to wait till they get into 7th grade then to get on those keyboard instruments. So yeah, it's a thing now. It's about 4 or 5 years, I think, has been really a push on it.
Waco, like, their pit captain is really good at mallets, and she rented one of our marimbas for just $5, even just for a month, and they can return it after that, and just maybe get some extra practice on it for a month.
Or like region band and stuff like that.
We're having actually a mallet clinic coming up.
Awesome.
But we do have, I have one rental guitar. It's not really something we do a lot, but in case people ask about that too, like if you have a choir and, you know, usually most people just have a guitar, but that's an option too. Not very common, but it's an option. We do, what, double and single French horns?
I think so, yeah.
I found out that we can rent an oboe too, so there's options.
Yeah, I see.
We can really do almost anything with our buying power. We're part of the blanket. We're part of the Guitar Center family,
Okay.
and so anytime you go into a Guitar Center, that's partially us.
Yeah.
Anytime that we also own Musician's Friend online. We also own Woodwind and Brasswind online.
I brought some music from
Yeah, and so it's we can get almost anything.
there. Okay.
It's really a nice place to be as a representative of our company.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things about us too that we do on the school services side is that as a director, any music that you want to buy, because our two probably biggest people doing it right now are Peppers, J.W. Pepper, and or Penders out of Denton.
Yeah, we buy from Penders. It's
Yeah.
down the street from our school.
Right. Well,
It's
I always use Penders. When I was a director, they're just really nice folks.
Mm-hmm.
They really take care of you. We do offer through Music and Arts a 20% discount on almost everything. We have deals with 90% of the publishers that they give us a discount that we can then pass on. So we can extend your budget by 20% if you're doing your print sales with us as well. So that might be something to think about. And we also do anything that's over $25, you don't have to pay shipping for either. So by the time you cut off your 20% that you're paying to Penders and you're not having to pay for shipping either, which they charge, it sometimes can really help.
And if you ever need anything and you need, you know, kind of on the spot, you can stop by the store, and if you have a PO, like I just write a hand voucher and send it to Brandon. We do 30% off for educators in the store, and like you said, free shipping. So it's really nice. If you ever need anything quickly and we don't have it, I can add it to our inventory, and then even just send that to you in an email, and I can attach that discount. Or I can, sometimes I pull things from local stores just to get them in a little bit more quickly than ordering it, like I'll pull from Rum. Vice versa. So we, you know, if we don't have what you need, we will find a way to get it.
And I guess really the basis of what we're saying is that we can, as long as there's a good open communication between you as the educator and us as either a representative, or if you didn't have somebody local, I mean, you can call me if you wanted to. I can order anything that anybody local can order. Now, I can't help a ton with repairs just because you're a little bit up there. But we can make it work. I mean, I can work that out with someone.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to sit down with you and decide. It's really the communication between the director and their ed rep as far as getting you whatever you need. Physically, we're able to handle almost anything that you could ever think of asking for, because our inventory is so large.
Yeah.
So between the lessons, the instrument rentals, the repairs, we pretty much have all the bases covered. So, and we do have some really great folks working for the company. That's one of the things that I like is just nice folks. You know, we've lost, and Music and Arts is just filling a need, but we're kind of past all that point where there was the family-owned music business. They're just, the people who started those just aren't really around anymore, and they've retired or they've done something else. We just don't have that as a resource anymore. So Music and Arts, with the people that they hire, really try to have that feeling of family and comfort, both for directors and for parents that are getting into it. And that's a scary thing for parents who've never done band before. They are really tentative about, you know, how much money they're going to have to spend, and they don't understand it, and they don't know the difference between this and HEB horns. So
Yeah.
we're happy to help however we can.
Yeah, and I think, you know, the people in the stores do a good job of that too. A lot of people I found either have been teachers or are going to school to be teachers. So they can, you know, if your clarinet player comes in, they're going to be able to ask what strength, you know, is your reed. or what does your director want, and be able to know what they're talking about. I do some inventory. I do some instrument testing in the store as well, just because around this area we have a large homeschool population. I don't know if it's that way out where you are, but we certainly do, we can do that if somebody wants to try out instruments. We can even set up the time and we have the lesson rooms, we can set up a few instruments in there so they can kind of narrow it down. But I really agree with Brandon. I think that this company is really nice to work with. Just having been on the other side of it, it is a lot like a family. And I try to make that, the atmosphere of the store. Other stores are starting or have been already doing community events in the store. So something that we have even coming up is our National Open House Weekend, which is the 21st through the 23rd. And the 21st is actually Make Music Day, which I thought was really neat. I found out from a French tradition where everyone just goes outside and plays music. So we have our open mic night that day, and I'm thinking like, how can I even just for maybe one song or one performance, have somebody play outside? I think that would be cool. But so that would be like the first night. We do things like open mic. The next day on Saturday, we have 2 free group guitar classes that are an hour long, and you don't even have to have an instrument. You can just come and jam out, and it's geared towards beginners. That weekend also, if people want to sign up for lessons, if they sign up for a month of lessons, they could get a free electric acoustic guitar, or a ukulele. And I mean, with lessons, you can stop at any time. So, things like that. I've done like a preschool music class I do once a month. I've done a class for individuals with different abilities. What else have we done? Like different free clinics. My percussion instructor is having a mallet clinic. So I try to be a resource for the whole community and inspire a lifelong love of music. That's actually part of my own philosophy in music education. When I was going to school, that's something I want to keep encouraging because it's never too late. So even if you have a band student that wanted to start off maybe later, they could always come to us for maybe some extra lessons, even just for a little while to catch them up. So I think that overall we kind of run the whole gamut and really make it a good place to go. And I know, at least I was hearing from Vina, and there's administrators out here who don't know what music and arts is or where to go for resources. So if you ever have any questions, like Brandon said, you can reach out to one of us, or if you know of anybody that needs help with something in another district near you, we can make the right points of contact so we can help. Because I certainly, what it's like on the other side, you can use all the help you can get.
Yeah. I taught for 12 years and then came into the music retail business. So I've been on both sides and I understand both sides. So sometimes just having a mentor or somebody who just understands really where you're coming from and can help find creative solutions to problems that, you're just like, I've got to be the only one in the world having this problem. And it's just not, day-to-day stuff is the same for everybody.
Yeah.
And administrators sometimes are hard to talk to because they don't know. A lot of times they're a coach. Nothing against coaches, but a lot of times those are the guys that move up into the ranks, and then they're trying to administer a fine arts program and they don't really understand it. So somebody like me can help out in the field just to talk to as well. So
I found that too when I was at a really tiny school. The graduating class before I was there was 17 kids. And I was the only band teacher, and it was choir teachers across the hall, and the ed rep that came to me for music and arts was a band teacher, and it was my first year teaching full time. It was really nice just to have someone like a sounding board. They understood and they knew what I needed, and they could suggest things and have ideas like, well, this worked for me in the past. I don't know, if that would work. And they, a lot of times, at least, if I needed something back quickly, they were able to sometimes make an extra trip out. And I know everybody's schedule is different. I don't want to promise that it's going to be across the board, but they're willing to be flexible because they know what it's like. When your elbow breaks the week of the concert.
Yeah, we'll certainly give you all the help that you need. Did you have any other specific questions about anything?
Do y'all do deep cleans?
We do. We do. Our Dallas shop has an
The
ultrasonic.
Dallas one does?
Uh,
Even better. I need my personal horn too.
Yeah, yeah, they have the
And
big,
I need a
machine.
chemical bath, it's about that time
Yeah.
for my personal horn. And I live close to Dallas, I drive, I live in Irving, so I drive
Okay.
to Argyle. That's why I was like, oh, good.
I really like the technicians and the repair guys in Dallas Hub. I think they do a fantastic job. They're quick, and any horns that I get back it's always done really well. And in the past, I've worked with kind of like smaller mom and pop shops, and the consistency in repairs is not always there. So I think the fact that we have specially trained, technicians, and they practice for years and years on the specific brands that we have, and it's really nice to be able to be like, okay, it's gonna be okay.
Yeah.
'Cause I am picky about like who I send my stuff to.
Yeah, so I'm trying to find a new place if I move there to send my own, like my personal horn too.
What do
I
you
need
want?
trumpet player. And so I have a Stradivarius
Mhm.
that they made like after the strike, so.
Mhm.
Have you seen the 50th anniversary one?
No, I think, I might have seen it, I think one of our kids looked up and picked up one.
Yeah, it's got all those. I mean, the scrolling on it, the case is a little bit of a step up, but it's really pretty.
Yeah. And so I need a deep clean on my horn. I'm trying to find a place to get it deep clean.
We can help you. I definitely want you to get signed up on our website. You can just do that on your own. Just,
Okay.
and it'll help get you some better educator pricing to show you kind of the difference between standard retail and what you would pay. In addition, we'll start communicating by email, not that I'm just gonna hound you every day with stuff. But say if I knew that you needed to get with Don, I could give you his phone information as the district manager up there. During the summer, I'd even be willing to meet you up there and take you to the shop, and make sure that we get that, just because that'll be more comfortable for you to have somebody kind of walk you around the deal. So, yeah, I'd be happy to do that.
Yeah.
So we'll trade email information.
Okay.
Do you have any other questions?
No, it just was wondering if I did deep cleaning and stuff,
We do.
'cause I need.
How many people are on your staff at your school that are like
For band,
Yeah.
it's just myself and, my head director. So it's just two of us.
How long have you been teaching?
Here, this is my first year here,
Okay.
but before I moved, I was teaching down in Mississippi
Mhm.
at, a Salvation Army, and they did their homeschool band and did their whole program there. So it's like year 2, 3, maybe 4, because I did a couple band camps too.
Yeah.
So maybe about 4 years or so of teaching.
Cool. You like it still?
Yeah.
Good.
It's
I
fun.
loved it.
Oh, yeah. So that's kind of how, just trying to find something, just see. But like I said, kind of the family feel, kind of where I came from when I bought my horn from the shop. It was like a family feel shop, and I would always take it back, and now I'm too far to take it back. And the guy was.
Well, for being as large as we are, it's surprising how close people still are. People in our company can just still pick up the phone and call somebody that they know and just get things done. So it's really mind-blowing to me that a company with good morals, ethics, and all that stuff has come into such prominence to be such a large retailer. But they do it the right way, so
Yeah.
I'm happy to be aboard. It really does. And the things that we offer for directors is really, really nice.
Yeah.
You got any other questions? I think she's through.
Good.
We can give her out early.
Sorry, my video. I was having technical difficulties.
That's all right.
No, that's fine. It's fine.
It's really good. I promise. If you want me to send it to you, I can.